Casting director workshops. Ooh, the controversy. Or not. Let me unpack this topic and give you my thoughts because it's never a simple answer in this industry. Everyone, I'm Matthew Cornwall with Get Taped here in Atlanta, Georgia, one of Atlanta's original audition taping services, which I co-own with my amazingly talented, beautiful wife and best friend Brooke, who just had a birthday. Okay, if you've been acting for more than 4 seconds, you've probably been to a casting director workshop or some other industry professional, or you've at least seen one advertised. And if you're in California, well, then you're probably aware of how a few years ago, the whole state cracked down on this practice because it had become so predatory. So is it categorically bad to go to a casting director workshop? Is it a scam? Is it always pay to play? And we'll unpack what that term means a little bit later. Well, it depends. And if you're super new to the industry, or you just know that you don't have the gift of discernment from the Lord above, well, then you should always get multiple opinions before you commit any money to a workshop. Not just the opinion of someone who has taken it and loved it, but someone who might have an alternate opinion, the opposite opinion, so that you can weigh all of the evidence and make an informed decision before you lay out your hard-earned money for any type of educational opportunity. And I will say that overall, no matter what leads you to potentially lay out the money for a workshop with an industry professional, just make sure that your internal monologue does not include words like shortcut, because that's how this practice becomes predatory. A studio can make an entire living off of these types of workshops when they are preying upon the lowly actor who is just desperate to make it in this business. Insert school or studio that is only using these types of workshops to make their income, and they can call up an industry professional. And again, we'll just kind of talk about casting directors for this and say, hey, come make buku dollars by sitting through a 3-hour workshop. We'll have the actors perform something or maybe submit tapes. We'll make it real simple. You're going to answer a few questions, and you can give as little or as much feedback as you want in those 3 hours, cash your check, and go home. And actors will line up around the block if that casting professional has a resume, especially if they have recent credits with shows where that actor really wants to get on those projects. They'll gladly lay out $150 for the chance to be seen by that casting professional, thinking, wow, what a great shortcut to get on the radar of that casting office that will then maybe give me an audition for a lead role in their next project. That's paid play, especially if there's this rumor or implication that you have to take one of these workshops in order to get on their radar before you'll ever see an audition from that office. Now, in some cases, which is what led California to really crack down on this, that's exactly what was happening. You had to. It wasn't just a rumor. It was pretty much overt that you had to do one of these workshops before you could be seen by that casting director. And that's just evil. That should be illegal, and it should never happen. And you should run for the hills if you were to ever see an opportunity or hear from a fellow actor that that's the only way you're going to get seen by that office. It's skeezy. Not all of these workshops are created equal. There are many industry professionals, especially here in the Southeast, that's who I can speak for the most, that are anxious to educate actors. Because here's the thing, it makes their job easier if they can educate and inspire actors to level up their own work. They see better tapes from you, and you become more disciplined actors overall. It's a win-win for them. And for a professional in any field, if you're being asked to give that wisdom to others, well, that time has a value associated with it. So it stands to reason that they should be paid for their time as those professionals. Okay, but to swing back to the other side of the spectrum, what if what they're teaching is readily available on the interwebs? Or arguably, it should be free information for actors. Is it now pay to play again? Is it scammy? You see how quickly this becomes a gray area, a muddy topic. And let me give a recent example for some context. 2 casting directors, one from the East Coast and one from the West Coast, just recently did a 2-hour Zoom call where they pulled back the curtain on the entire casting process. Now, I actually did pay to watch the playback of this, and it wasn't a huge fee. It was less than $50. And was it a $50 value? Well, in my mind, yes. And beyond that, I felt like the value was huge And for actors who are new to this business, what these two cast directors laid out for you was revelatory in terms of helping the actor to understand the process behind the scenes so that you can talk yourself back from the ledge, so that you would understand why you're being called in for certain roles, what is happening behind the scenes that has nothing to do with you. It was immensely valuable as far as I was concerned. And for Brooke and I, owning Get Taped, a taping service, it's invaluable to be armed with all of that information as we inevitably work with actors every day who are trying to make the smartest decisions as it relates to their tapes. Which brings me to another point. I know I'm jumping around here, but that's the problem with this topic. There are so many angles and so many pros and cons and ways of looking at this. But I could just regurgitate to you everything these two cast directors shared on that 2-hour Zoom for free. But I'm not. Actually, to be honest, a lot of the nuggets that I already knew, well, they are spread across all of the videos on this channel. So if you want to do some digging, you can figure out everything that you need to know from that Zoom call by just watching 5 years worth of videos on this channel. But even if I was nice enough to summarize all of this information for you, there is an intangible value to hearing it straight from the casting director's mouth. In other words, I could read from a transcript and tell you quote, unquote, and even if you believe me 100% that I am reading quotes from the casting director, somehow it would mean more to you. It would be more valuable to hear it from their mouth. Well, crap. So I seem to be flip-flopping back and forth as to whether there is value or not value to these workshops. So what is the answer? Well, let me say it this way. If you staunchly believe that this type of information should be free, well, then you should be following these types of casting directors on social media, the ones that are public, because they do give this information out for free, spread out over months and years, of course. If you're a union member in good standing, you can learn a lot of this stuff for free by going to the different SAG Foundation classes that are offered periodically throughout the year, in person in LA and New York, also virtually. If you have an agent like mine, thank you, Houghton Talent, they periodically bring in these guests to do free events for the actors of that agency. Going back to SAG-AFTRA, if you're a member in good standing, our local conservatory offers workshops once, sometimes even twice a month, where you get free information from industry professionals. Heck, even Trilla Studios, which used to be Pinewood here in Atlanta, they do free events where they bring in industry professionals all the time. So there are ways of getting all of this knowledge, the stuff that's just book knowledge, that's just information. There are ways of getting this for free. But to aggregate it all, it's going to take time. And I don't mean like an hour or two. I mean, this could take weeks or months of you digging and searching and grabbing a nugget here and grabbing a nugget there to build the total wisdom that you could find in one of these workshops. So you, and only you, need to determine whether or not it is worth it to save those days, those months, sometimes even those years of your personal investment of time, which is free but is not free. Is it worth it to condense all of that into a workshop that you will have to pay for? I'm not answering for you. That's something that you and only you can answer. But again, that's the primary equation that you should be trying to solve. You should not be basing that decision on whether or not you've been seen by that casting office before. Because spoiler alert, your agent or manager, they are the ones that should be pitching you if you have not been seen by a casting office that's on your radar. Paying for a shortcut is not the answer. I mean, if you have disposable income that's burning a hole in your pocket, well, good on you. Do whatever you want with your money. But what I'm concerned with, what Brooke and I are always concerned with, and what motivates us as a company, is when actors make these decisions out of fear, FOMO, fear of missing out. If I don't sign up for this workshop, oh no, my career is going to take longer. And I'm afraid that this is the only way I'm going to have a shortcut to success, to being on the movie poster. So I better pay the money for this workshop. Oh, there's another one next weekend by a different cast director. I should pay for that one. Oh no, there's another one. I should pay for that one. Please do not base these decisions out of fear. Please don't. Okay, and now one last question that I'll direct to Brooke and myself, which is, do we offer pay-to-play workshops at Get Taped? Yeah, I hope not. We have hosted casting professionals here at Get Taped, but we're always very super discerning about who we collaborate with. We're only interested in professionals who can actually teach you something, who leave you with tools that will make you a better actor. your craft, your business acumen, or both. And since we're in the Southeast, we actually love collaborating with folks who are not in our market. Not only does it bring in the wisdom of, let's say, someone from LA or New York, but it has the added benefit of it not feeling like pay to play because that casting professional isn't doing anything in our market. So there's no way that an actor is going to be getting on their radar, presumably, because we're here in the Southeast, they're based in LA. And if they are going to be working on something that cast in the Southeast, there's going to be a local Southeast casting director. We're trying to remove this idea of pay to play, this pressure to perform in front of this industry professional because, oh gosh, they might call me in tomorrow for something. That's the other thing. We're not going to bring in a casting director that is currently casting something and charge you money. That's where things get really murky, get really icky, because now it is pay to play. And that is something that is certainly unethical and should be illegal, and actually is, I think, in California. Now, when possible, we will bring in these types of guests for free, primarily through our Sam Christensen Graduate Network. We are super committed to that community and to continuing to educate them for free, not only on the material that they got through the workshop itself, but through these other types of opportunities, bringing guests in, whether it be casting directors sometimes, or even agents. In that way, we're mirroring what the SAG Foundation or what the SAG-AFTRA Conservatory is doing, which is to members or graduates of the SAM process. We're trying to give added value by providing these opportunities for free. When we can't offer them for free, we're going to do our darndest to make sure that you get more value than what you pay for in that workshop. And we never want anyone to think that what we're offering is some sort of shortcut pay to play nonsense. Oh, that just shakes my soul. And I have a confession. I am a chronic over deliverer. If you need proof, just look at the 5 years of free videos on this YouTube channel. So you can trust that here at Get Taped, we're never trying to do any of those opportunities for the money. And if you think we are, please contact us. We'd love to discuss that with you. We always have our links to our website and our email in the show notes below. And so as I wrap up, what are your thoughts on these industry workshops? Again, it might be agents and other people, but specifically casting professionals. Is it a black and white issue for you? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on set.